explorer of the human essence. Art is a scientific discipline that sheds light on the invisible beauty that lies within us. Cristiana Giacchetti. Welcome to The Artful Exchange, the podcast where we dive into the fascinating world of design, creativity, and innovation. I'm your host, the poetic designer from Winter Design, and today I will be presenting and talking with an Italian artist. Cristiana is a painter and sculptor whose roots are deeply rooted in an artistic family. With the fresco painter Cristiana Giacchetti as a role model, she inherited an unwavering devotion to art. Under Gualtiero Moceni, she learnt to find the courage to experiment and push her own boundaries. Her work is based on abstract expressionism and is characterized by the use of modern mixed techniques, where she uses a wide range of effects and textures. Each of her works carries a unique mood and story, shared by specific color applications and surface treatments. Three central terms summarize Cristiana's artistic essence: lyricism, originality, and pareidolia, the latter meaning the mind's tendency to recognize meaningful patterns, which often lead to optical illusions in the subconscious. She also uses poetry to connect with her artwork, which fascinates me immensely since I share this approach myself. I discovered Cristiana on Instagram and became rapidly intrigued by her works, and not least how fast she gained recognition since working full-time with art since 2021. For 20 years, Cristiana dedicated herself to corporate communication as a strategic consultant. And then, in 2018, following professional paths in the field of coaching, wabi-sabi shamanism, she altered her career completely. Welcome so much, Cristiana, and thank you for taking the time to joining us today. Can you please tell us more about yourself and where from Italy you come from?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and share my work with your listeners. I apologize to them in advance for my English, but I will try to tell you about myself in the best way possible. As you just said, Tanya, I'm an Italian artist and I have lived in Milan for 30 years. I worked for a long time in corporate communication as a consultant. But I felt that something was wrong because I was never satisfied. So I began studying coaching and counseling to delve deeper into personal dynamics. First, I trained in Ericksonian coaching and then in strategic counseling, and finally in shamanism through the wabi-sabi approach. As a result of these studies, I began to help people in their personal evolution. In the meantime, I continued to learn, studying Young's shadow and alchemy, the ancient science of transmutation. In this way, I understood that what I was missing was inside me, not in the world out there. So, I had to find out how to connect with that part of me. The road came with the pandemic, during which I started painting to discover myself. The pandemic is over, but the love for art has remained. Okay, this is how I discovered that I am an artist in the soul.
It's quite a road you've gone down. It seems that your education coming from a family of artists has influenced you a lot as well. Is that correct? What was it like growing up in a family of artists?
I'm self-taught, so more than family education, we could talk about family inspiration.
Okay.
On one side, there is my great-grandfather, Cristiana Giacchetti, a painter from central Italy. I never knew him, except for family stories. I know that he also received any awards. In Italian, it's called Cavalier of the Arts.
Ah,
He,
yes, a very
he,
prestigious art award.
yes, he's had a bad temper, mm, but a big heart for art.
Oh,
Unfortunately, many of his paintings were destroyed in a fire. I only have one of these paint.
oh,
But even though I don't know him, my great grandfather is a precious gem in the genetics of my soul. I call him the spirit of the artist, and I awakened it in me. On the other side, there is my father-in-law, Gualtiero Mocenni, the most important living artist in Istria, region of Croatia. He has sculpted and exhibited all over the world, and he was also self-taught like me. Even if he never trained me, in over 20 years, I have learned from him the courage to experiment, a fundamental element of my process. Also, thanks to him, I understood that art is the love of offering oneself to art.
beautiful.
In addition to my partner, Gualtiero Mocenni was the first to support me in my artistic journey. I'm very grateful to Gualtiero. So, in my family, I had models who inspired me in the way of being artist.
It's really amazing, Christiana, how much work you've actually produced after deciding to leave the corporate world and dedicate yourself fully to art. You've been exceptionally productive, and you've also won an award this year. You became, I think, first place with the Work Renaissance GM Mostra Awards through Naples, Italy. So well done and congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Tanya. You are very dear. In alchemy, they say that when you are in the soul, you are in the flow. And if you are in the flow, you are very creative. If the soul is loved, it returns gift. And the award I received in Naples from GM Mostre is a great gift. It was a very rewarding moment, not only for the prize money, but because for me it was a big yes from the universe. It was fantastic to receive the first prize for two reasons. The first, because my work on Renaissance won. It's a work that represents my rebirth. The second reason is for the motivation on the award. In fact, my style was compared to artist Burri, an Italian sacred master of contemporary art, known for his intense and material style. So everything was perfect.
Congratulations again, truly
Thank you,
remarkable.
thank you.
What is your greatest source of inspiration, Christiana?
When I started my artistic journey, I didn't look at any role models, and I don't look at them now. Not because I'm not curious, but because I want to focus on my artistic style. I don't want my style to be influenced by what the market wants or what is fashionable. The artistic seed must be protected from external interference. So, my source of inspiration is my inner world, my true essence. The rest is just appearance and surface. We live in a very stimulating time, and it's very easy to lose your artistic sense and become something you are not. Today, society imposes standards, so if you are not a certain way, you have not artistic value. But who said that? Your, your artistic value depends on the love you put into your project, and the love also requires self confidence. If you let others define whether you are an artist, then you are not. That's why it's not easy to maintain self confidence. There is too much interference between the artist and his soul.
I actually very much agree with you. It's very well put. What does art represent for you, though?
For me, art is a practice of meditation. When I paint, I immerse myself in my inner world beyond reason. This inner journey manifests themselves through the work and the tale of an emotional state. The difficult moment for me is to empty my mind and not let my will decide. Each work is an act of faith in the image that is realized on the canvas. The work is the result of cooperation between the invisible world that lives in me and the visible world that is me. Consequently, I'm not a creator, but an instrument of this dialogue. I doubt I do not follow rules. My process and style are very clear. Three words express my style: lyrism, primordiality, and pareidolicity. The latter is the optical illusion of the subconscious. Many of my paintings are born from the ancestral nature of the gesture that follow the poetic movements of the soul. The observer recreates, through an optical illusion, an image revealed by what the philosopher Plotinus called spiritual sensorium. The eye overcomes the appearance of the form and captures the image that one's soul reflects in the painting. Therefore, my works are mirrors in which I see myself and the observer reflects himself.
Excellent. Thank you, Christiana. What subjects are you working on today? Is there anything you would like to share with us there?
My focus is the soul, or psyche for depth psychology. It's the essence and beauty of every people, light and shadow. My goal is to investigate its language that is made of image, not words. This image and its movement are not understood by reason, but manifest themselves in the form of emotion. On the contrary, the world censors beauty because its judge and reason brings it back to normality. But the soul is beauty and beauty is abnormality.
Yeah, I like that.
Art, which is image, is the tool to manifest our soul in the world because does not judge it. And in fact, art, like painting, sculpture, poetry, is the primordial nourishment of our soul, which is pure beauty, light and shadow.
How did you get to your current artistic practice?
Out of the need to accept my dark side and therefore to relate to him. At a certain point, I understood that the suffering was the manifestation of my inner world. It wanted attention, not controlling the pain, but welcoming it. Art was a way to dialogue with them and give them a form. So, art is a therapy of form. This made me realize how much beauty there is in a discomfort that the mind judges as ugly. For example, would a poet be a poet without his suffering? No. For a poet, suffering are a source of inspiration for his poetics. The same goes for the artist. Consequently, art is a perfect representation of who I am without censorship.
That's beautiful. Which current or upcoming projects are you working on, Cristiana?
Mm. Okay. For future projects, I let the universe decide.
I see. Okay.
At the moment, I'm focusing on some exhibition that I will participate in by the end of the year. The first will be held in the fall and is a virtual solo exhibition wanted by the Sino-Italian Design Center, which chose me to represent Italian art in China. In September, I will participate with two works in the group exhibition Future is Now in Milan. Then, in October, I will be present with the Allington Gallery at Art Munich, the International Art Fair in Munich. And finally, in December, I will go to Portugal for another group exhibition, Transition, at the Pais Gallery.
You're very busy.
Thank you. And I'm also focusing on how to expand my project titled Faccio. They are pendant sculptures representing monstrous face because in ancient time the monstrous was the divine. Mm. These sculptures are born from the union of my shamanic practice with art. All the Faccio are unique pieces in terracotta, inspired by the Greek diamonds and strengthen people's inner power. It's a project that I care about because I can help people achieve their life mission. At the moment, some Faccio are exhibited in a group exhibition in Venice, together with the paintings of a dear artist friend named Elena Pazzaia. Finally, I'm dedicating myself to revising my first novel, which will be released by the end of the year.
Well, you're an extremely busy person, an artist. I believe you have posted some pictures of these sculptures on your Instagram account. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I have seen them there, and they're really lovely. And I recommend our listeners to go
Oh,
on
thank you.
Christiana's Instagram account and see them.
Oh, thank you, Tanya.
Yeah,
For me, it's
no,
very
it's
important.
absolutely. And it's your artwork. So I have some roundup questions for you, just rounding up our talk here today. I just thought that I could ask you some questions. For you, Christiana, who decides what is art today? Is there a difference compared to the past?
Oh, unfortunately, today the market decide, and this is not a good thing. Um, Art must be protected from the logic of profit because in the past it had a different utility from business. For example, in ancient times, art was the discipline that concerned beauty and therefore the only one that could nourish the soul of the individual and the soul of the world. The implications are very important. A nourished soul has no need to claim or envy.
Mm,
So, if all the souls in the world were nourished by art, the universe would be in harmony.
yeah.
This does not mean that the artist should not be paid for art. On the contrary, because the value of his gesture has superior utility in terms of experience. The artist's work connects with the spirit of every human being. Therefore, art is not an end in self, but its mission is to create harmony in the universe. Is there anything more important?
Hmm.
Yet, at today, in most cases, is the fruit of the ego. The work is preferred for the fame of the artist rather than for its artistic value. But as the Philosopher Simone Weil says this is not art because beauty has no name.
Yeah.
The artist is the vehicle of the work and the art of making the gift of manifesting itself through the artist's work. There can be no ego but humility.
Thank you so much, Cristiana, for sharing your story and insights with us today. It's been such a pleasure to learn more about you. And I really look forward to continuing to follow you and your next art projects.
Thank you, dear Tanya, for the great opportunity. You were a fantastic host. I wish you all the best for your precious project, and I thank all the listeners who follow me. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to the Artful Exchange. Stay creative and inspired until next time. If you would like to learn more about Cristiana, have a look under our description post for this episode, and there you can learn more about Cristiana and find her social links.